confidence. And we're also going live on our platforms. We're giving guys a little bit of value on Facebook Live and let you guys see a little bit of what we're doing and really get a better understanding of your potential. And the truth is it's untapped, it's unlimited. Thank you guys also for the guys that are in Zoom. Anybody that's on Facebook as well, you have the opportunity to jump in the Zoom link. We're going to give about 45 minutes to you guys, free value, and you guys want to learn more, send us a message. Send a message through the Facebook group. And if you have any questions as well, put your questions on the Facebook page or Instagram, and we'll take your questions as well. We're going to start off with the blueprint to a better self-confidence. And what does that mean for you and me? And this all started off for me many years ago, learning that anything and everything was possible. And this was a process. The process was wanting to be more. And in that process of wanting to be more, I also knew that I was more. As I was a little bit different, 2 years, 7 months, I knew that I was more than just a body. I was aware that I was a soul experiencing a physical reality. And that idea led me to all the research that I've done for years. And all this research I've done is on consciousness, on who are we? What are we here for? What are we capable of? And all these mysteries and questions that we ask ourselves. And I always knew that there was a reason for me being here. Identifying that reason and bringing it out was definitely the thing that I had to do to develop myself. I was raised in, there's different levels of poverty, but I would consider we were in a level of poverty, of wanting more than what we had. And I remember being around a group of people and an environment that everybody was always in the lack of, right? And so here comes this better understanding of who you are through the process of learning who you're not, right? It's not who you are that controls your reality. It's who you're not. And if you don't think that things are possible, and if you don't know how to set goals to achieve goals, it's really who you're not that is going to develop the world you're in. You see, so many people think that they're not successful. They're not capable. They're not willing to change. They're not willing, not. And that idea is what's holding you back from going beyond who you are. I'm going to give just a bit of a backstory. As I'm growing through life, I just began to discern that we are more and that we're actually meant for more. But in order to become more and to achieve more, we've got to develop something within. And the thing that's within is normally what's holding us back. As I began to look at my self-image and adjust my self-image, I started to create a bigger image, a bigger idea of myself. And I started to create that bigger idea of myself. My reality would begin to shift, and it shifted every time. And it shifted every time I had a bigger image. Now, this was a process, of course, and it came back to understanding consciousness and understanding our mind and understanding that we truly are capable of more. And understanding the fears, the doubts, the worries, these are completely normal. It is normal for an individual not to go beyond what they are. It is normal for an individual to decide to conform to what they know. It is normal to continue doing what you know. And it's actually abnormal to do the opposite. So what I was learning was to be abnormal, to be uncommon. And so many people wanted to fit in. And I noticed I tried to fit in, I never could fit in. I was never meant to fit in. I was always looking outside the box. I was always looking how to change myself, how to change things, how to improve. So that was uncommon. And the truth is, you have a normal operating brain if you have fears, doubts, worries. You have a normal operating brain if you don't choose to bet on yourself. It is abnormal to progressively seek to change yourself. That's abnormal. It's uncommon. Why would it be so uncommon? As I started to research more, I started to get a better understanding that 60%, and I researched this, and everything I say, I want you to not believe it, and I want you to look it up. Why do I want you to look it up? Because the more you research, the more you're going to know that you didn't know. And the more you do that, you're going to begin to look inside and look for the thing that's wanting to do things on purpose, the thing that desire that's wanting to unfold inside of you. And what you're going to begin to understand is that our spiritual DNA is perfect. The essence of who you are is perfect, and it is always demanding for you to go beyond who you are. We're spiritual beings experiencing a physical reality. Spiritual beings experience a physical reality, not the other way around. That spiritual essence is causing you to think, want, and desire to go beyond conditions and circumstances. It's always guiding you since you were little. It's always urging you to run faster, jump higher, go beyond. And as we begin to get a better understanding, we begin to see the things that are holding us back. And I'm going to have to step in here and grab a marker. And I'm going to have to ask Miss Emma to help me out here because we had an event earlier and I ran off with the markers. Can you help me? Open them. So we're going to talk about the mind, and I'm going to go through it fairly quick because there's a lot to cover in a short amount of time. I want everyone to get the most they can out of what we're doing here. And when we talk about the mind is something unseen. But in order to understand what I'm talking about, we need an image. We think in images. Therefore, we need an image to understand and relate to the word we call mind. The mind is an energy. Thank you. The mind is an energy, and the body is a manifestation of that mind. And Dr. Thurman Fleet, back in 1934, gave us this image so that we would have a better understanding of who we are and how we work, how we operate. He, with other great individuals, knew, and doctors, that we were normally treating the patient, the client, from the head down. From the head down. Doctors are normally trying to get to understand the patient, to understand that there's something happening inside of them before it happens outside. So they're treating the person, but they're normally treating them from the head down. They had to have an image to give something for people to relate to. So Dr. Thurman Fleet created this image of the mind. That's not exactly how it is, but it gives us an understanding and it brings order to our mind. This top half is the conscious mind. This bottom half is a subconscious mind. Okay? These antennas up here are the antennas, the senses. We pick up information from 3D world. 3D, we live down here. This is what we see. We see, hear, taste, touch, smell. We see everything physical. When we look at our outer ring, what we see is the expression of our consciousness that has attracted the vehicle that we drive in. We see the home that we have attracted, or we rent, whatever it is. We see the amount of revenue we earn. We don't make money, you earn money. We see our friends, the people that we're in harmony with. We see the relationships that we attract. We see and experience. We see and experience our physical reality. But what we don't see is what's happening over here on this side. What's happening on this side is unseen. Okay? So this is where the law of vibration, law of attraction start to come in, and it's hard to understand the law of vibration and attraction if you don't understand the way it works. So many people are talking about attraction, but attraction is a secondary law. Secondary. The primary law is vibration. Vibration attracts its frequency. We think in frequencies. Vibration is the law of laws. This vibration, this is the perpetual transmutation of thought energy. This energy is vibration on a frequency. This energy is always vibrating. It never stops. We call this energy the mind, or the perpetual transmutation of thought energy. It never stops. The minute we're born, we are thinking. The minute we are born, we're working towards identifying the outside world. Once this starts, we're alive. We begin to breathe. Okay? Now, scientists have measured this energy. They know the minute it leaves the body flatlines. The body will flatline, and the energy is off to another place. They have measured this energy. So this divine energy, this divine spark, is your spirit. This divine energy gives life to the body. The body alone has no life and power. The divine energy gives life and power to this body. Scientists can measure this energy that when it leaves the body, it is no longer connected to the brain. It is no longer connected to the brain and to the body and to the organs. Immediately the body flatlines, the body goes back to earth. They've also measured this energy when a child is born. If a child is born, that child can be perfect. The body can be perfect. If that divine spark cannot connect to the child, to the baby, the minute it leaves the mother's womb, it's on its own. And if it cannot connect to that child, immediately the child is stillborn. And that body goes back to where it came from, goes to earth. You'll begin, if you watch both bodies from the beginning to the end, you'll watch it disintegrate and actually go back into the nothing. So what's here from the minute we're born to the day that we leave? I call this the pattern plan, the blueprint. I call this a lifeline. When it ends, only we will find out. We came in, we will move out. There will come a day when we will move out of this body and we're off to another place. We moved in. We came in. Why? Because of the father and the mother. These two energies combined gave us life. They gave us their DNA. So this is called genetic programming, DNA. This genetic programming is why we look like our family members. And then we received the environmental programming. And we came in. This information has moved into us. We moved into it. Why is it so important? Well, it's the reason why we look like our family members. It's why we think as we think. But it also has its own frequency and it has its own pattern plan. How is this possible? Well, we came into this outer ring. This is the environment we came into. I came in December 31st, 1979, and I came into Texas in this time. And I came through this family. But as I come in, by law, I must begin programmed genetically and environmentally from this family members, this time period. The information that was coming into me went directly into me. My subconscious was wide open, just like every child. 0 to 5, some say even up to 7, even possibly 8. The subconscious mind is open. So whatever's happening around that child is dumping right in, going right in, and they cannot reject it. They must accept it as truth. They cannot reject that information. So this information that's coming in is going into their filing cabinet. And as you begin to use the word think, you're actually grouping cells, group of ideas. You group these ideas, and this thinks. As you group ideas, you go into this archive and use this archive to determine where you're going to move this body. You come in here. This sends a signal to the body, and the body is the instrument of the mind. This energy is going to the body consistently, to and through you. This energy is consistently thinking, which we call your intelligence. This intelligence is always vibrating, which is perpetual transmutation of that energy. It's always thinking. It never ends. If it ever ends, you're off to another place. So the minute we came in, we began to think. We began to get feedback from our outside environment. We began to, what does a child do immediately? Begins to look around, it begins to observe. And it's observing, it's hearing. And it can pick up information from his ears and what's going on and what's happening. So immediately, this child is perfect. Perfect. What are they doing? They're observing their outside world, and they are begin to what? Want to reason with what's happening. They also want to learn. They're soaking everything up. They want to eat like you. They can smell. They're like, wow. And they watch you. And they watch you eating. And they want to taste what you have. And they're building the information, and they use that to think. As they're retrieving, they're bringing in all this information, then they think. They watch the way you move your hand. They watch the way you walk, the way you talk. And what are they doing? They want to mimic. We follow the leader. This is just law. Why? Because we had no cells of information, no cells of recognition. So what do? Follow the leader. Who are we following? The environment. They give us a name. Right? They tell us all these ideas, religion, race, all these beliefs. Where did your relationships, I could put that word relationship, where did you learn relationships from? Well, relationships are so broad. Immediately they began to get being programmed. What is a father? What is a mother? What is a grandfather? What is a grandmother? How does a man treat a woman? How does a father treat a daughter? You are reasoning, and the reason you're reasoning, because you're reasoning with the people that you were around. And you gather that information to think in the future, and also to attract your relationships in the future. So depending on the way you were taught how a man treats a woman, or a husband treats a wife, or there was one, there wasn't one, whatever these cases may be, your originating foundation is being built here. And then as you think, or as you vibrate, we attract. So when we look at our external world, what we're looking at, attraction is a secondary cause, vibration is the primary cause. As we vibrate, we attract. We attract opportunities as well. We can also manifest new opportunities. But the average individual thinks, which is called imagining. Listen to this. Thinking is called imagining. So when the individual is thinking, which is called imagining, they're normally going into this memory box. They go into the memory box and retrieve files of information, and then they flash on the screen of the mind. This image flashes here. Conscious mind. Subconscious, you normally don't see this. You normally see what's flashing on the conscious side of your being. So a lot of people say, I know, but they don't do. Why? Because the unconscious controls what the body does. This is why I say I'm going to go over there, and the average individual will not go there if it's outside of what they know. The average individual will go and do what they know, not what they don't know. So only if you've developed discipline, only if you've developed a desire to go beyond, only if, when you begin to develop yourself and change yourself, you begin to develop new neural hard drives that discipline your mind, discipline yourself. And I have every now and then I'll find somebody that has a discipline of continually advancing themselves, changing themselves. Because that's not normal. What's normal is if it's beyond what I know, I reject it. If it's not in here, I don't do it. If it scares me and it's unknown, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because this energy is telling the body how to act, feel, and experience. If I say cat, dog, refrigerator, TV, you can hear me. Some of you are listening. As you listen, you're on a higher frequency, then you absorb more. This vibration comes in, hits the resonator of the whole thing, and it retrieves the files and the coordinates. And here comes the idea flashing on the screen of the mind. Now, why is this important? Because this whole time that we're going to be talking about this, we're going to be illustrating how the mind works. We don't really know how it works, and that is what creates disorder. And the mind needs order. Every time you're going beyond what you know, let's say you have a vision, and this vision is beyond what you know. Spirit's designed to send you ideas. If we don't know who we are, we reject the idea. Because we go back to what we know. We can tap into the memory of the past, or we can tap into an alternate future. This is how we go beyond. It's rare you find people working up here. The average individual will use his essence, their essence, her essence, to do more of the same. So as they think or reason with their physical reality, they reason with the memory from the past to create more of the future. So I want you to pay attention to that. They reason with the past to create their future. It's no accident that they keep repeating the same thing over and over again, or the lessons over and over again. So many people didn't know that they were not supposed to repeat the lessons every day or for years. What you don't learn, you repeat. What we don't learn, we repeat. I've personally, I remember repeating 1,400 days over and over again. What I was repeating was my program. And I stayed in the same job and business for that many days, experiencing the same reality, not because I could not do more, because I was not aware. Aware of what? Anything's possible. What is the mind? How does it work? How can we tap into this infinite potential, infinite power? Well, when we look at men that have gone beyond this 3D world, 4D up, we will find men that were going beyond common sense, beyond what was common of that era. Everybody 3D down is looking at conditions and circumstances. These men were always looking to create conditions and circumstances. What were they doing? They were using the same mind. They're using it differently. The average individual is thinking from what they know. They get emotionally involved with what they know. They listen, hear, taste, touch, and smell what they do, and they reenact, they follow the leader. But the individual that is going beyond the senses and thinking, what's next? How can I create that? They're tapping into an infinite field of consciousness that has always been around from the beginning of the time. This box is the largest box there is. It's infinite. Nobody knows the end of it. People call this the field. This box is infinite. You can go into a box that's infinite. Now, where was Edison going for ideas? Why was it that he was getting the ideas that others could not? He could be right next to somebody, and they wouldn't get what he was getting. Desire. Raising your vibration beyond what you know. You can keep going up. It never ends. You can keep going down. You can go up on vibration, go down on vibration. But it's rare you find somebody going beyond what they know. But if that individual is going beyond what is known, you start to tap into this infinite field of consciousness, and you can bring down ideas. Let's look at everything that's been created. Let's look at this. Let's look at everything that has been created by man. You see, God gave us a gift, and He gave us the ability to think beyond nature. Nature's way. We're the only ones that don't fit in our environment. We create our own environment. We create our own environment because we're thinking beyond what we can hear, see, taste, touch, smell. Now, it's very rare you find people doing this. It has been recorded that 97% work for the 3 to 5%. Is that an accident? So 3 to 5% are going beyond conditions and circumstances. They create value for other people to experience. The average individual is not creating value. They're experiencing the value of other people's creations. Everyone else is doing what they know. Now, I started to look around, and I looked at poverty, and then I started to experience poverty, and I had to. Why? Because that was the environment I came into. I had to experience what they were experiencing, not because they were bad people, they're great people. They do what they could with what they knew. This information isn't, a lot of times you won't even find this if you're not aware. You'll be so far away from this information, even though it could be right next to you and you not even know it, because you got to be on that frequency. I've traveled the world. I've traveled the world looking for the information that would take me beyond the senses. I've traveled the world, worked with people, highly successful people that are changing reality. That 3 to 5%, I enjoy surrounding myself with those type of people. Why? Because they're going beyond the senses. They don't believe in what you see and what you look at. They know that there's so much more beyond what we can hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. And because they know this, they act and behave like it. And because they act and behave, and they do, they receive more ideas. You see, where do ideas come from? Thoughts? Good. So ideas come from thought. They come from subconscious. So we can come to the subconscious and we can retrieve old programming. I know you guys just jumped in. This lower half, subconscious mind. This is where we store all of our memories. Memories, right? So this is memories. All the memories from the beginning of time, 0 to 7. The child has no ability to reject. It just accepts everything as truth. 0 to 5, I did it. My family's done it. Everybody is being programmed. The minute they're born, they're being programmed. We do, and we experience according to our family and what they're doing. They did the same thing. This is not given everywhere, and this is why we're doing this. I knew the minute I knew this information, my responsibility was to give it away. This is how we can educate people. This is how we can help people. Immediately, you begin to accept everything that is happening around you because you're in that environment. This is why when you look at a child, you say they're so perfect. And you look at them, they're so perfect. They're so beautiful. Why? Because their essence is pure. They begin to download everything that's happening around them. And they begin to act, walk, and talk like them. This is what happens. How does this happen? Well, we want to experience what they're experiencing. We learn from them. We're educated by them. They teach us what to do, what not to do. At some point in time, I started to be programmed on what was possible, not possible. And I know when that happened because I was very young. Why did I know that? Because everywhere I looked around, I saw poverty. And then all I heard was arguing on there's not enough money. Look in the refrigerator. There's no food in the refrigerator. When we would eat, we ate exactly for that meal, and that was it. No more. There was no, I would later on, I was introduced to different cereals. I'll never forget it. I didn't experience Fruit Loops till I was already maybe 12 years old. And I experienced it at another family's house. Why is this happening? According to the environment. And I'm not saying it's all bad. A lot of it has made me who I am. When we really look at our environment and where we're at today, right now, we begin to understand that now is all we have. Now is all we have. And a lot of people don't understand what now is. All we have is now. All I've had was now. We're talking about the mind. We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about opportunities. All we have ever had was the now. All we will ever have is the now. I can go back to 18 years of age. I was experiencing my reality as an outer ring, and it was always equal proportion to how I was thinking. When I looked at the people I surrounded myself, in equal proportion to what I was thinking, I attracted that. And the only time I had was now. I can fast forward, put 20 years over here, and I have experienced myself the whole time. Have we not? So what we're experiencing is the way we're thinking. And all we have ever had was right now. Right now is the only time you have. Tomorrow is a possibility. But when you get there, all you have is right now again. Tomorrow will be now. and today will be the past. Yesterday was the past. So there truly is no time. There is no tomorrow. When you get to tomorrow, it'll be now again. What are we experiencing? The image-making process. We're experiencing our imagination. So let's fast forward. Mind, you don't see this. We don't see this. If I say cat, dog, refrigerator, TV, yellow cat, yellow cat, yellow cat, yellow cat. How many times did you see the yellow cat? Yeah. Because you can hear me. This is our antennas. We pick up information with the antennas. It comes on flashing on the screen of mind. And because you have cells of recognition of the words I'm using, it comes flashing on the screen of the mind. You see the yellow cat. Why is this important? Well, you're starting to realize that what you're retrieving is memories from the past. What we're working on doing is teaching you how to build a new future. Understanding first we're energy, and then we're physical later. Physical reality is a byproduct of the way we think. Physical reality is a byproduct of the way we think. When I look right now and I look at the amount of money I earn, I can see the vehicle I drive. I can see the home. I can see the relationships. I can see the business partners. Everything is something outside of myself. But what we don't get is what's happening inside. And that's where the issues are at. We are coming to our time. Thank you guys that are on Facebook, Instagram. We're coming to our time. We've been giving you guys free footage of our seminar. You guys want to learn more? You want to get into the rest of Zoom? Send us a message. We'll get back with you. And Zach, if there's any questions or anything like that, if you would bring them back around, and we'll answer those as we go along. See that real quick. Give me 1 second here, guys. Yes.